If you've been single at all in the last few years, then you would know that modern dating feels impossible. It feels as if men and women are living in completely different realities, and as a result, are unable to communicate or cooperate. I too had to navigate this situation, and have come out the other side alive, happy and engaged. In this video, I'm going to detail my analysis of why modern dating feels impossible, and what can be done about it, including exactly what I did to overcome these challenges. Dating for our ancestors didn't seem as difficult as it is today. Our ancestors lived in a world framed by the Judeo-Christian ethic, and thus the masses held shared values. This is a critical point because our value structure determines how we perceive and interpret the world. As you can imagine, shared interpretation, at least on the fundamental questions of life, such as right and wrong, is one of, if not the most important aspect of any relationship, including romantic relationships. And so, it's not difficult to imagine why dating is so much more complicated in a world where people don't have shared values, and thus, no common perception or interpretation of the world. In the world, there exists far more information than can be processed at any one time by your brain, and so your brain must determine what information is and isn't relevant. Without this limitation of perception, there can't be any action, as you'd fall into the trap of combinatorial explosion. Without coherent organization of information, one cannot determine what to do or assess where one is, because both assessments of the current state and decisions about the future must take place within a perceptual frame, that is, within a hierarchy of values. The organization of your perceptions is pre-rational and takes place outside of the conscious control of your mind, and this disorganization of perception, and thus interpretation, is one of the core reasons for the felt sense of impossibility of dating within the modern age. A key example of this is the concept of gender roles. The woke, feminist crowd hates this topic because they despise Western civilization, and gender roles are to Western civilization what butter is to bread. Our ancestors' value structure asserted the necessity of gender roles, as they were in alignment with God's natural order, or, to put it differently, gender roles align with the nature of men and women. Gender roles provide direction to all men and women about what the ideal man and woman looks like, and as a result, creates a cultural structure within which all interpersonal relationships occur. For example, in a homogeneous culture that collectively agrees that gender roles are true and good, people naturally align their behaviors toward being the best man or woman. But what happens when mainstream culture relentlessly attacks the concept of gender roles? What happens when generations of young women are indoctrinated into believing feminist mythology at university? How can relationships develop if both men and women have no clue about their roles within society and romantic relationships? The breakdown of belief in gender roles is another key driver of this felt sense of impossibility within modern relationships, which ties back to the breakdown of shared values, and therefore, shared perception and interpretation. Romantic relationships function best when the man leads and the woman follows, as this is in accordance with their true nature. Any perversion of this will manifest in interpersonal relationships as conflict. For example, if the man tries to lead, but the woman also tries to lead, conflict naturally results. Similarly, if the woman tries to be submissive, but the man refuses to lead, she feels unsafe. Her masculine energy dominates to take control of the situation, resulting in resentment towards her partner, a lack of respect, and ultimately, a breakdown of the relationship or a loveless and sexless union. This is exactly what is happening today. Both men and women are confused about their roles within relationships. Can you really expect a society where people don't understand their roles to function optimally? Imagine that you worked for a company where no one had roles, responsibilities, or job titles. How would anything get done? Without clearly defined responsibilities, how would anyone know what to do? And how would accountability be established? Similarly, imagine an orchestra where no one is assigned an instrument, nor any conductor to lead them. How could they possibly create beautiful music in such disorder? The beauty of music lies in the organization and harmonization of all the component parts. So, why do we so easily understand the importance of roles and responsibilities in organizations and orchestras, but struggle to see their importance in relationships? In the past, when gender roles were widely accepted, every man and woman understood their role in society, and they knew what to expect from others, and had a stronger foundation upon which potential relationships could develop. But today, the absence of these roles creates unending conflict. In short, the widespread loss of belief in traditional gender roles is another driving force for why modern dating feels impossible. Another major culprit for why modern dating feels impossible is dating app technology. Dating app technology disrupt the natural courting process by reducing the costs of approach for men to near zero. How many women would you approach in person versus hitting like on a dating app? If they reject you online, you barely notice, unless you get absolutely no matches at all. Dating apps encourage simultaneous dating by offering endless options, but this reduces the investment that you're willing to make in any one person. You're less likely to stick it out and develop a substantive relationship. Spinning plates, as they call it, is a mistake if your goal is to develop a deep connection with someone, a deep connection that will flourish into a loving, long-term, monogamous relationship. I could go on about dating apps all day, but in the spirit of brevity, here's a list of additional reasons why dating app technology is counterproductive to forming deep and genuine romantic relationships. Number one, they encourage the perception of endless options, making people think the grass is always greener, reducing commitment. Two, they distort reality. You're not seeing the person for who they are, but rather a curated version of themselves. 3. They commodify people, encouraging objectification and reducing potential partners to tools for hedonic gratification. Are there any positives to dating apps? Yes, but they are limited. The ability to filter partners based on characteristics, like filtering for a Christian woman on Hinge, for example, is valuable. That is, if you are Christian. And casting a wider net to meet people that you wouldn't normally encounter is quite useful as well. While dating apps are flawed, a strong case can be made for their strategic use. So let's talk about it. How can we navigate this grim dating landscape? Firstly, if you're using dating apps, you must get hyper-specific about what you want. This is crucial, not just for online dating, but for dating in general. How can you find a good fit if you don't know what you want? Before you can judge a match, you need to develop a deep understanding of who you are. What are your core values? What do you believe is the ultimate aim of life? Your values frame your perception of the world. And so understanding what you believe will help you get specific about the kind of partner that's right for you. For example, if you're Christian, at a minimum, you need a partner who shares your faith. Once you know what you want, you need to explicitly communicate it. On dating apps, be upfront in your bio about what you're looking for. Will this turn some women off? Absolutely. And that's the point. You're filtering out the women who aren't suitable while attracting those who are. Imagine you come across a woman's profile where she clearly states what she's looking for and it aligns with who you are. Wouldn't that pique your interest? Don't play games. Be honest. Next, portray yourself as authentically as possible. The degree to which you misrepresent yourself is the degree to which you'll attract the wrong woman and repel the right ones. If you portray yourself inaccurately, you'll attract women based on that false reality. And once they see who you really are, it will lead to conflict. Portraying yourself accurately filters out the women who aren't compatible with you and attracts those who are. Lastly, find someone with shared values. I've already belabored this point, so I won't go in too deep. But finding a partner who shares your values is the foundation for reducing conflict and fostering long-term harmony. Your shared values will serve as the framework through which you perceive the world and make decisions together. In short, while modern dating feels impossible, there are practical steps that you can take to improve your odds. Know yourself, be explicit about what you want, and look for someone who shares your values. With a strategic approach, it's possible to navigate this complicated landscape and build a meaningful relationship. Thanks for listening.